I've always been the same, but it's the world that's changed. In the time that I was growing up, the Pakehā in New Zealand didn't want to know about the treaty and didn't want to know anything about Māori-Pakehā relationships except what they could see and what they wished to see, which was a people who were getting on well together. So I was trapped in that kind of time warp where even publishers would not publish work by Māori unless it was shown to be amenable and unless it was shown to be cooperative. So the third publisher who looked at my book, first book, Pounamu, for instance, said, well, who will read your book? And I said that Māori would, and he said, well, Māori don't read books. So when it came to the publisher who then published my work, what they were more concerned about was that my work translated to a Pakehā audience. What was happening was that I was living in two worlds. One world was a world which I really wanted to succeed in, which was the Pakehā world. And at the same time, I would then go home to Waitangi, which was my home village, and be aware that actually the people that I came from had a long history of resistance to Pakehā. And they were what we call ngā mōrehu, or the people who were left over from the Ringatu flight through the country when they were being pursued by Pakehā soldiers and by the constabulary. So there I was at Auckland University, and I married Jane, and I was living this life within New Zealand, but always aware that whenever I went home, the old people were still always talking about the treaty. So the treaty has always been with me, and the ways in which Māori have attempted to establish for themselves their own rights under the treaty, often in cases of great desperation, and often in instances of forcible removal from the land, all of that has always been with me. Like where we are, for instance, here in Tāmaki, I'm always conscious whenever I come here that just across the road is Ngāti Whātua, where they were forcibly removed from their homes. They were resettled, and that Auckland owes these people for the generosity of giving them Auckland. I don't think that Māori will ever be quiet. I think that from the very, very beginning, when the treaty was in fact first signed, it began a process of constant negotiation and renegotiation over kupu, or word, and what every word in the treaty meant, and what Hobson meant when he came from England. He was on a trip for 4 months to get here. He was sick when he arrived, and he didn't even have a treaty at the time. He had just a few examples of other treaties that the British had signed. He was faced with a situation where there was the Roman Catholic Bishop Pompallier on one side, where Williams was on the other side, where even Māori were bickering between themselves about what they wanted to get out of the treaty. And very quickly, Bishop Williams was the one who actually translated it into Māori within a day. So he made the decision, but not to use what the British called sovereignty, or Rangatiratanga, and he said no, he would turn it into Kāwanatanga governorship, because he knew that the Māori would question the document and say, well, we've already got the Rangatiratanga of this country, why should we give away a Rangatiratanga, a sovereignty, to the British? Because British law would not recognise Victoria's rule in New Zealand unless the Confederation of Tribes consented to it, I think that they had interesting interests in mind. The trouble was that Māori at that time had already sold land to settlers, and it all then had to be renegotiated once Victoria and the Crown decided that they would allow, they would give Kāwanatanga, but they would allow Māori tikanga the right to rule themselves, and also to have and to acknowledge their taonga. So there's really interesting questions of law taking place there. There's really interesting questions about what the English meant and what Māori meant. And that particular debate is still going on. But I like what Kawiti said about the treaty. He said he had a dream, and in that dream he saw pale men coming from across the sea, and they were carrying a parchment, and they were going to be, Māori were going to be putting their mark on it. And then the parchment burst into flames. It was consumed by flames, and the ashes, wherever those ashes fell on the land, then that land was also consumed. So for us as a people, I guess that what we need to do is to try to find a new prophecy for the future, a new one that may be when we do have people who are coming from Alpha Centauri and want to come to investigate what has happened in New Zealand, discover that even though those ashes have fallen onto the ground, that in fact people today are attempting to make that earth blossom again and begin to flower. It always amazes me that they were all very young. All of those people who were involved in the signing of the treaty, they were all young. And it always also amazes me that when you think about New Zealand, in fact, it was a very courageous document. The Australians don't have one. The Canadians don't have one. So in many ways, we should be, we should be thankful that we did have a document that then could become a discourse on the future of New Zealand, for the future of New Zealand, and continue to be discussed and brought into law as it is being done and has been done. If it hadn't been for a treaty, we wouldn't be able to have a conversation. It's really important that they are aware that the treaty will always be subject to the judgment of history. So they are the ones who will determine how far that the treaty will take them and their children. It's really exciting to know that previously there had been this huge disgruntled attitude towards Māori getting their land back. And yet when you see what Māori have done with their land in the South Island, you see the renegotiations that are taking place at a very local level with joint ventures with Pakehā. You can see Māori getting into hotel management. You can see Māori and Pakehā working on fisheries ventures, on financial ventures, on all kinds of different cooperative economic ways of pushing our country forward. You see all of that and you think, wow, if that can happen now, then what will happen in the future? Because I actually think of Waitangi as being a bigger thing. It's almost like a treatise for good justice and good representative consensual government. So I can actually see the wonderful things that it says operating in New Zealand also with the way in which we're treating Pacific Island peoples, treating peoples from other places, the way in which we're looking at refugees, that kind of sympathy that is embedded in, and that kind of wish, that kind of dream that is the treaty, is embedded within what New Zealanders are doing. You know, we've got these two people who came on different types of ships. One came on wonderful waka from Raiatea. Another came on these sailing ships from England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland. And then we have the others, you know, who are now coming to New Zealand. So all of that is also Waitangi. We define ourselves by the stories we tell about ourselves. And that's my business. It was the business of my elders, my grandmother, to tell me those stories. And so it's my business to tell those stories to my grandchildren. And it will be their business to tell those stories to their grandchildren. And really, when you think about it, all of those stories actually were initiated by the debate at Waitangi in 1840 on February the 6th. Dinner with the cannibal. Of course, I should have realised at dinner that he would be a man of special tastes. His mordant wit and intellect proclaimed him bon vivant. I suppose I was bedazzled by it all, the chandeliers, the red roses like stigmata, too flattered by the invitation to notice that the table was laid only for hors d'oeuvres. It was understood, of course, that I was privileged to be there in dinner jacket and black bow tie. The fact that he drank claret should have made me realise that he liked his meat rare, yet, even so, I was taken aback when all of a sudden he reached across the table to snap off both my legs, as if I was a crisp brown Māori bread man, saying, "You won't need these, will you?" The snap and wrench of bone from socket sounded louder than I expected, but the agony was slight. I've always had a high pain threshold. What alarmed me more was that my silk trousers were forever ruined. After all, he said, a landless man may just as well be limbless. And just in case, he added, breaking both my arms, this will prevent any further throwing of wet black t-shirts at Her Majesty. What could I do? I watched him suck the marrow of my bones and tear the meat that once had made me mobile. I was pleased his manners were impeccable. Not one sweet morsel of me dropped from his lips. I loved the way in which he cracked my toes and fingers open with his teeth to work the fine gristle for its flavour. He was a gourmet of impeccable sophistication. That was much better than Aboriginal or Red Indian, he said, and I have never liked the taste of Hindu or Pakistani. Too much curry in their diet taints the flesh. You are a repast quite delicious, almost like Samoan, less fatty than Tongan. So saying, he proceeded to the main course. This was my stomach, heart, and ribs, not exactly in that order, for I could not see what he ate first, as he leant forward with silver knife and fork to slice the cavity of my chest open like a crisp golden chicken. My thoughts were entertained, in fact, by the memory of Noel Coward's witticism about Salote at the Queen's coronation in 1953. Mr. Coward was wise never to visit Tonga. Ah, there it is, he said, impaling my heart with his fork and lifting it from its protective cage. I wept to see its pulsing beauty, but thought, this is only to be expected, really, from people who eat and drink the blood and body of Christ every Sunday. Best to rid yourself of this, old chap, he added. Your Māori yearnings are excessive, you agree? I wondered if he was right. After all, why yearn for language and culture already taken? Why fight it? Where does Māoritanga fit in this world of Xbox, Captain America, and the Avengers? Yet did I protest and fight as he cut through the middle of my heart, and seeing that rich blood flow red as a river, wondered if there was time to escape this dinner. "Oh no, you don't," he said, as he began dessert, dishing the sweetmeats of my body onto a crystal plate, my liver, kidneys and tongue, and last of all my eyes, smothering them with strawberries and rich cream. By then, without eyes, I could no longer see the relish of his enjoyment. Cruelly, he left my brain intact to wonder why I had ever accepted his invitation to dine those many years ago.